Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Listen, you've known me as the guy who's always giving you advice, giving you lists, rattling off things you should and shouldn't do. But I realized something. Why should I tell you what to do when I could show you what to do? And you're probably asking at this point, Braxton, why are you in the kitchen with us? And what are you going to show us? Well, I'm going to show you a skill that we as college students lack. Cooking. We got a microwave, we got a mini fridge, and we have absolutely zero clue how to use them. So today, I'd like to kick off a new segment here at the Beacon. We like to call it Rocky Top Chef. Let's check it out. Now before we get into the bulk of the show, I want to lay down a few ground rules, like all good kitchen shows do. Now, I don't have the angry British accent or the pioneer ranch or whatever some of these other chefs got, or for that matter, any cooking experience other than this whatsoever. But my one major ground rule is that each recipe we do on this show is only going to have 3 ingredients and 3 ingredients only. It's going to be simple, easy, for you to prepare in your own dorm rooms. So with that in mind, I want to introduce today's cooking theme. It's dating on a dime. I know you guys and gals out there got your significant others that you want to impress. And I figured what better way than whipping them up something that no college student could refuse. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce today's dish, a spicy Southwestern tortilla soup. It's a staple down here, the perfect balance of beef, beans, and spice. So with that in mind, I want to introduce today's ingredients and we'll get right into the cooking. First ingredient out of the bag today, chunky chili bean soup. You can find this in your local pod market for under $5. Pakai, however you'd like to say it, salsa verde chips. Also, only a couple dollars. I think actually paid $3.99 for this entire bag, but we won't use the entire bag. Our final ingredient to add that spice is Dipper's hot sauce. None other than the best, and it only costs you 50 cents, but if you know a guy on the inside, they'll get you it for free. First thing you're gonna wanna do is peel off that safety lid and make sure the soup is ready to go into the microwave. I'm gonna make sure to replace the lid. That way it can breathe in the microwave, and we're gonna go pop it in. Now the packaging calls for you to put this bad boy in the mic for about a minute, minute 12. Make sure the microwave's on high, or just double check whatever your standard settings are and cook accordingly. Next up, as a part of this recipe, you're gonna wanna stir in your hot sauce now to give it that little bit of a Southwestern kick. So, just add in as much as you like. I'll just add a little dollop on top here. You're gonna take your spoon, just gonna mix that around in there. Get that mixed in, make sure it's even. That way you don't see the hot sauce color left anywhere else on the surface. You want to get it all mixed in, that way it's an even consistency on the soup. You're mixing the beans, the beef, and at the same time too, you're making sure you can, give it a little test, make sure it's still warm. Depending on how warm or cold it is, you can give it a little bit more time in the mic. Now when you're making these kinds of dishes, like I said, it's good for any time, and even if it's not dating on a dime, then you can always make sure it's always an easy recipe, to make for yourself. It's tasty, spicy, sweet. It mixes it up, because I know sometimes the dining halls can get a little boring, or heck, even, eating out at some of the other pod markets and other things are fine. So I think this is a good way of taking together a bunch of ingredients, really mixing it in, and making something new with it. Now the final step is to add the rest of these packy chips on top to give it that tortilla garnish. Now the chips are totally up for interpretation. You can feel free to use whatever you'd like. Doritos would work well, even a few of the other different flavors of kind of salsa or themed chips like that. I'm just gonna crush them up into little bite-sized pieces. Gonna just drizzle them over the top like that. Kind of like a little final garnish, like I said, because this is a date night episode. Kind of take a whole chip, maybe just garnish it in on the side like that. That way you're feeling really artsy with it. Well, there you have it, guys. It's a pretty easy dish to whip up. Like I said, it only took me about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how hot or how much other ingredients you'd like to mix in. Now, like I said, I want to preface this again by saying this is just the most basic. Feel free to take it any way you want it.